All right. Shalom, Makim lesson. Going to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Hashadash. Double on the star apostles and elders of great Milton that taught us is true. Peace and blessings to the sincere occupants that pushing is true. In all truth and sincerity around the four corners of the earth that you lead to us. Shalom. Okay, I'm the brother Yara Arayah from the Great Moscow Miami camp. I come out to the spirit power of Yahweh Bahashim, Shai, to make another lesson. Okay, in this lesson, I'm going to how all these nations are tired of Babylon. Okay, when I mean all these nations, I mean its enemies and NATO too as well. Okay, I was watching a lot of articles yesterday and a lot of videos about how Trump is now asking NATO for help. Trying to open up the Strait of Hormuz, but all these nations are like, that's not their war. Okay, all these nations, all these NATO allies are not, helping America. And also really because of this cool lord, which is Trump. He's that cool lord that is, ruling now over America and starting these wars and taking over presidents, doing what he did in Venezuela, doing what he did to the Venezuelan president. Okay, these nations are not too pleased with what Trump did, man, especially NATO. Okay, NATO is not too pleased with what Trump was doing and what he's doing now. All right, so now when when he thinks that when he thinks that he could just go around the country taking over places and taking over presidents, and like back in before, because you have to realize that every kingdom has its peak, okay, and every kingdom has its fall. Okay, right now we are watching the fall of America, and I done seen it too. It's a video talking about how like how every kingdom rules for a certain amount of years, and then or stays strong for a certain amount of years, and over time that kingdom just deteriorates. Okay, and I believe the scriptures do speak about something regarding that. All right, how and as well, when you read about Daniel, with that statue, okay, Daniel, I think Daniel 2 or Daniel 7, when it goes into, all right, that statue going into the different rulerships, the different kingdoms, okay, that ruled, man. Okay, at first you had the Assyrian Babylonians, okay, then you had the Persians, the Medes, okay, then you had the Greeks, then you had the Romans, man. And now we are in the okay, revival or the Roman. Okay, now we're in the revive, the revived Roman Empire. Okay, but that shows you how there has always been a structure of how a kingdom rules. Certain kingdoms ruled for a certain amount of time, and then that next kingdom came and took them out of power. And and now you have seen that because these, America is having trouble too trying to even recruit for the army. Okay, people are not wanting to go to war for America, man. All right, because America has been exposed for the wickedness and all the things that it's done, for money and stealing, man. A lot of people saying that they're not going to go fight for Israel, man, right? Because they understand that it's not that war. Okay, so America is crumbling, man. You know, all right, it's crumbling from within and from the exterior, man. Okay, and I got an article too. This is U.S. counterterror chief quits over Iran claims Iran posed no imminent threat. So even the U.S. top officials, okay, are realizing that's part of prophecy to talking about it. Their tongues shall fall upon themselves. Okay, you have the destruction from within too. Democrats, the Republicans. Okay, it's generals like that too. And I was watching another video. There was another leader that resigned too, and now speaking against that. Speaking against the Iran-Israel war, saying that how America is right now, geographically, okay, they only have ships going into, okay, though, those naval ships, all right, cannot just go through the Strait of Hormuz because, it would be an issue, man, because they're on land and Iran has the jets, the anti-ship missile. So America will lose that war if they enter into the Hormuz, and that's why Trump tried to call for its allies so its allies can come and help them. All right, but guess what? These allies like, nah, man. You know, this is not our war. I think Germany said, that's not our war. All right, all these other NATO allies said, we don't have no part in this. Okay, and that's pretty, that's showing you how we are at the end of this kingdom. Okay, we are at the end of this kingdom, this rulership. All right, and I got one more article too. Is Trump demands NATO and China police the Strait of Hormuz. So far, they aren't joining. That's right, man. China is, America is even asking its enemy China to come and help. All right, and majority of allies said French, the UK, Australia said no, you're not joining y'all because these nations are sick of America, sick of Babylon, man. They're not trying to put up with the Babylon bullshit that Trump has been doing recently. Okay, and I got a couple precepts lined up. No one investments enterprise. It's just Psalm 64 verse 8. And so they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. It says all that see them shall flee away. And that's right, man. America's making their own tongue, consume on themselves, man. Okay, look what they're doing. All right, it's his generals, a lot of high officials are saying, nah, man, we ain't find this bullshit war anymore. It's pointless. And as a leader, all right, once you see that your officials that you have are turning against you, that's not a good sight, man. Right? Because that's supposed to be your commanding. Those are supposed to be your commanding officers, man. Those are people that you can go to for help when you are going to make a decision. And seeing that they are giving up on you, that's not good, man. All right, continuing on, it's Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. Because hey, man, we are at the end of a kingdom, so there's a lot of pieces that are being played. All right, and showing us that we are at the end of Babylon's rulership. All right. It's like I'm driving to as well. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. It says, and the 10 horses with swords upon the beast, right? Those are going to, those nations, okay? France, Germany, Britain, okay, that are upon the beast. Okay, you can say the EU, all right? They shall hate the whore, and who is that whore? That's America, because there's that whore that rides the beast. Okay, they shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, man. These nations are starting to turn their back against America, which is that whore, Babylon. Okay, due to the just scriptures talking about, the nations are mad. All right, that's showing you that we are at the end of this place, man. And also, these nations are going to shoot missiles at this place as well. All right, these nations are going to be shooting missiles at America. They're talking about all you that bend the bow. Okay, all these nations that have nuclear capability are going to shoot missiles at this place. Okay, this is Jeremiah 1 and verse 7. And it's some beautiful times that we live in, brothers. Okay, seeing this, there's always some new article coming out with America and Iran and Israel, man. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand and hath made all the earth drunken, and it's like it. The nation have drunken wine, therefore the nations are mad. That's right, man. These nations are mad because they done drink of the wine of Babylon. Okay, those philosophies, it's a way of living, it's democracies, okay, that Babylon has pushed upon the nations. All right, they have drunk up those things, and now they mad, seeing how how wickedly Trump is dealing with his allies. Okay, cutting off Canada. right? Cause now it's not talking now. Trump is saying that he doesn't need Spain anymore, or Otto saying that he's talking about Spain. These are supposed to be your allies, man. Okay, so these nations are mad at Trump and America for its unrighteous dealings, man. Okay, and sooner or later, that big world war is gonna pop up. Seeing these little proxy wars with Iran and Israel, but World War III is going to start in the Middle East, man. Okay, I got one more precept. This is Jeremiah 50, verse 14, and it says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrow, for she hath sinned against the Lord." I mean, all these nations with nuclear capabilities shoot your nukes, man, at America. Okay, these, these nations, okay, are going to launch missiles at America due to the, wickedness that that it's done. Okay, and when ultimately, it's a part of prophecy too happen, man. It's a part of prophecy for America to not be in good standing with its allies and all of these other nations. All right, but this is a short lesson. Just to edify the topic of going into how you know all these nations are tired of Babylon. Okay, and are going to send those nukes, those ICBMs at it, to destroy it, man. So AI can lower and lesson this edifying out here with that. I do want to give my praise not going to Yahweh Bashim, Shai Bashim, Kadash. Still want to start apostles and elders of great notes and the taught us the truth. Peace and blessings to the sincere Akim. With that, I do want to say shalom.